Hello, welcome. It's now March. I've managed to do 3 vlogs in a row, which is absolutely crazy, although I do seem to be recording them at the end of the month, which is probably really bad. So I'm going to do better next time. It's been an absolutely crazy month in terms of both gaming, game design. I've been making some fantastic progress with some of my older designs and some of my new stuff as well. So I thought we'd just go straight into it. So let's go intro! Hello. So, right, so what I've been up to this month. So, gaming-wise has been fantastic. So, we've managed to pick up a few sort of new titles as well as old. The ones off the shelf of shame, or whatever you like to call them back there. We got Eternal Palace from Alley Cat Games off the shelf. Fantastic little game there with the dice mechanisms there. And you're sort of painting like pictures in Japanese, or was it Chinese? I can't remember now. One of the either Japanese or Chinese culture, where you're sort of painting a landscape picture by using dice allocation to sort of pick up these bits of pieces for your paintings, and then sort of taking pictures of what do you call them, like features in the landscape as well. Really clever. Love the little dice mechanic there, where you roll your dice and then you can assign them to one of 12 spots on the board based on how you mix them up. So like a 1 and a 6 could be put together to make a 7, so you can go to the 7 spot or use it for a 1 spot or a 6 spot. And then there's all sorts of mechanics for like dice mitigation and making sure that you've got control of certain bits of the board at the same time. Really clever. And then you sort of build up an actual picture on an easel, which I thought was actually really, really delightful. Other games we got was Noria. So Noria's been on my shelf for quite a while. The reason I got it was it has this really clever rotation mechanic where the action selection is based on how you rotate these sort of 3 cogs, one inside the other, and how you rotate them and change the orientation will change what actions are available to you each turn. And then what you're doing with those actions is you're trying to go up these 4 sort of paths, these 4 trackers, and your score is based on how high up those trackers you actually go. You can do things like grab materials and up the amount of materials you take per action, build factories, that kind of thing. Again, really, really clever. The only thing I wasn't too sure about was the fact that one of the phases is called a politicians phase, and in the politicians phase you can affect how much a path will score. So if, say, you've managed to get the politician to number 4 in a particular path and you're at path, number 5 in that queue, that's worth 20 victory points, 5 times the 4. But what you can do is when you increase one column, you can remove a politician from another column completely. So if your sort of gaming partner is trying to go up a different path, you can remove their ability to get a higher score. Not too sure about that one, but that was quite fun. And then the last one, I don't know if you can see it on the shelf back there. No, it's hidden. Is HeroQuest. So old school HeroQuest got remade by Hasbro in, I think it was a couple of years ago now. It was going for like £100, and I just couldn't justify the cost for a game which, it's aged. It's showing its age essentially in terms of like mechanics and things, but it looked amazing, and I was always intrigued about picking up a copy because it's one I played as a kid and I absolutely loved it. It was just I played it with my brothers. I was the Zargon or Zarbon, the evil wizard that was sort of running this horrible thing, and I managed to pick up a copy for about 40 quid. I think they're just sort of getting rid of stock now, and I wanted to play it with my kids, and they both love it. Every weekend so far this month, they've asked, can we do the next scenario? And we're up to like scenario 6 now, I think it is. It's fantastic. So I'm really enjoying playing HeroQuest. The minis are absolutely beautiful. The components, again, they're okay. I really wish the walls wouldn't slide around quite so much, but, lovely production on that one. So yeah, there we go. Bit of board gaming. It's been an absolutely fantastic month. Ooh, I think I'm coming in a bit bright there. So, other things that I've been doing, reading books. So, Fairy Tale by Stephen King, absolute departure from his usual horror stuff, but it was more sort of like, as it says, a fairy tale, inspired by things like, Jack and the Beanstalk and Rumpelstiltskin, things like that. Really good, actually. I really enjoyed it, and it had I don't know, a certain quality to the ending, which I quite liked for a change, because usually it's very grimdark, and this was okay. No, enjoyed it. I'm now reading Neil Gaiman's, what's it called? Neil Gaiman, it's a book, and it's got things, and it's trigger warning, that's it. I've only got into the first couple of pages. There seems to be lots of like short stories that he couldn't find a book for, so let's see how that one goes. Apart from that, it's been mostly proofreading. So my wife writes these stories, so she's just finished off a series about sort of a half-dwarf lady who lives in Cardiff, of all places. It's an urban fantasy series where she's a forger, and she just seems to get embroiled in all sorts of antics. Really good read, but the one the series my wife has moved on to is one about a witch she's a tech witch. So essentially she's got like lightning powers, but she's also really good with things like computers and gaming consoles and stuff like that. Has all sorts of mishaps with them, unfortunately, because she's not quite in control of her powers. And then suddenly she's brought into this, what's called the MLO, the Magic Liaison Office, I think it's called, yeah, Magical Liaison Office, where she becomes one of their officers, one of their investigators. It's really good fun. I'm up to proofreading book 4, I think it is, so more to come. I can't give you any more details, obviously. Got to go out and buy it if you can, or maybe find a free chapter, because there's always available. Yeah, so really good. Other gaming has been video gaming, obviously. I managed to finish off Mario Sunshine, which was a bit of a slog, if I remember correctly. No, I don't remember. I do remember correctly. It just had some weird stuff in it that just felt like... it felt very much like it was just added in to make things a bit more... to pad things out, essentially. Like some really weird stuff, like with the fish, where you had to squirt them with juice and then they turned into a platform. Who knew? Although it does turn out, I didn't realise the type of juice you hit them with changes whether they're an up-down platform or a side-side platform. Kinda clever, I guess, but the big issue is obviously you wouldn't have figured that out on your own. Got through it in the end. Also, Mario has ice for feet. I don't know what the heck was going on there. Sometimes he reacted like straight across the board. Other times it was like trying to move a block of ice and then the camera would suddenly rotate mid-jump, so suddenly you go plop, dead. So yeah, quite tricky. The final boss was good fun though, so I didn't go back and finish like all the extra star stuff. I just couldn't bring myself to go through the whole heartache of trying to collect all the coins and things to get all the extra stars and get complete, 100% it, which is a shame really, because I have 100%ed a few of the other games like Mario 64 and the Mario Galaxy. That was really good fun. I went back and I remember we 100%ed those, but they were, I don't know, I had more tolerance, I guess, or Sunshine was just differently calibrated. Not sure. This month I've moved on, so Steam had a big sale, and in the sale I picked up the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and oh my days, this game was built for me. So Final Fantasy VII was one of the sort of pivotal games of my youth, a JRPG, had massive branching story, loads of cool characters in this sort of techno-futuristic situation, this scenario, love stories, deaths, also, it's a massive epic game, really good fun. And I remember playing it in my formative years of sort of gaming when I first picked up, I picked up a PS1 specifically to play this game. Absolutely loved it. I remember buying it, playing it for 4 hours, then realising I didn't have a memory card, so that whole run was set down the pan. Had to go back into town the next day to get a memory card. Super fun, awesome game. I was really scared about the remake because obviously they completely redo all the graphics and everything, and I thought, oh, it's not just going to be like a rehash, is it? It's just going to be like the same thing, because I've kind of fallen out of love with the JRPG format, with the whole like selecting menus and having to combo things. That mostly came about because I was playing a game called Xenoblade 2, and it's just a slog. Like, it feels really stodgy, and it's trying to do like these cool epic combo things, but the epic combo things just, it feels like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, but taking forever to do it. And I also didn't like the fact that you could run around in a particular arena and then suddenly there would be like a level 34 monster right next to the level 12 one, and it absolutely pancakes you, and you're like, oh, okay, so I've got to go through this whole mess again. You probably guessed, I'm not a big fan of repetition in games. It's probably why we never got back to Time Stories and finished those ones off. But yeah, no, not a big fan. The remake of Final Fantasy VII, though, it's like it's aged with me. That's the bizarre thing about it. So playing the game, it's a lot more action orientated, so you actually can do like swinging and guarding and maneuvering around and dodging attacks as well. But then you've also got a little bit of like this action selection thing as well, where you can sort of go, oh, I need my partner Barrett to send off a cure spell or fire a thunderbolt down because that's the weakness of this particular enemy. So you can very quickly, in the middle of the action, just tap this button, hit the spell, cast it on the thing, and the whole the combat sort of slows down to like almost a crawl, but not quite a stop. So you still have to sort of operate at a certain speed. It's absolutely brilliant. The time battles, there's no random battles. You can see things coming and you can try to avoid them, but it's generally quite difficult. And then, yeah, everything else is just, it's got a nice simple upgrade system, so it's not overly convoluted. It's like, go here, select this thing. It's not trying to do too much all in one go and just bogging itself down, becoming stodgy with it. So yeah, absolutely loving that, which is just fantastic. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's been a great month for game design for me. It's been absolutely brilliant getting back onto TTS, doing some playtesting. It's something I've really missed over the last few months, trying to get Haunterculture up and running, which we are now in the middle of. We've received a lot of the components already. I'm going to send the update out tonight. Not that there's going to matter because the video will go up a few days time. Anyway, doesn't matter. There's going to be some lovely updates about the deluxe components. We've got the printer who's now working on the files for that as well. So the files have all gone to the printer. As far as we're aware, that's going to be okay. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, we're super excited. We've also got Ultra Brawl, which was the co-design I did with Josh Hicks over at, oh gosh, what's it called? CPE Books. Fantastic little card game about wrestling, and it's super yellow. So yeah, if you get a chance, come and check that out. Speaking of which, yeah, design-wise, Dragon Ranch has come along really, really far. We had some great play tests at the beginning of the month, and you have, it's been sort of toned down, like a lot of the components have sort of shifted and small and gotten shrunken down, and then some of the sort of stodgy mechanics, like the rewilding board, which generally didn't get interacted with until later in the game, I've now found a way to make that so that interacting early is also a good thing to do. So hopefully I can promote players to do that. And then just turning down things like reducing the amount of coins you earn in a turn, reducing the power of some of the charity workers as well, because someone found like a broken eternal loop where they could like earn money to unexhaust dragons to then play cards that when then exhaust the dragons but earn money, so then you get in a whole cycle. And he basically had a massive turn 2 and just blew the whole game up, but which was great actually. It was fantastic to see. So yeah, toning all that down, hoping to pitch that one at the UK Games Expo. More on that in a minute. Then the other one was a weird design. So I've been trying to do one called SpacePixelHax, and I called it SpacePixelHax because I just couldn't decide on a theme. I couldn't. I love the idea of like a pixel game, I love the idea of a space game, and I love the idea of like a hacking, computer hackery kind of game as well. Eventually settled on space, but it's still called SpacePixelHax. Long story. Anyway, the idea behind this one is that you're using your dice, and it's the difference of the dice compared to dice that's already been played that tells you how strong of an action you can take, and that allows you to do things like grab resources, upgrade your mothership, travel along these sort of space routes to drop off goods to these planets, things like that. With the idea that instead of using dice mitigation as the mechanic to sort of give you that control during a dice worker placement game, just make it so that dice are always situationally useful. So like a 5 could be great if it's next to a 1 because it gives you 4 points of action, but if it's next to another 5 it's just going to give you 0, so you're going to get a very basic action instead. And it just creates this lovely situation of like you're just looking around to make sure, you know, these pieces are useful right now, so I want to get in there early. Oh, someone's played a 2 there. Now my 4 is actually a lot better than the previous thing I had, so boom, place it down. Yeah, and then lots of like colour combinations in dice, because I like colour combinations in dice. Yeah, so again, hoping to get that one up to a more playable state soon. It's one of the weird ones where it's kind of worked very quickly. So, a little bit of a story. Ghost Store, when I first designed it, changed very little from when I first conceived it to when it was published and brought out to public. I don't know, and I thought, you know, oh, game design, no, that's not a problem, you know, it's easy peasy, you know, you just bring up an idea and there it goes. And it kind of spoilt me a bit, because then there was a massive slog trying to get horticulture to work, where I went through iteration after iteration. It was, oh, this is boring, oh, this is dull, oh, this doesn't work, ooh. And yeah, it took a while for me to realise that no, actually the slog is where it's at. SpacePixelHax has been a bit simpler in terms of it was a bit quicker to bring to the table, but I just wonder if that's just the fact that, you know, I've been doing this for a few years now and kind of the experience is starting to build up, and now I can sort of plough my way through it and get to like the good stuff, knowing where the bad stuff is and kind of skipping over them rather than this constant state of iteration where I'm trying to figure it out. Anyway, long story short, SpacePixelHax looks like it's going to be cool. I'm hoping to bring that one to UK Games Expo, which neatly brings us on to that. So this year we're going to have the biggest stall ever for UK Games Expo. We've decided to go all in on the tables, because that's one of our sort of big sellers at the moment, is affordable gaming tables for folks who would love to have one with a vault and lights and all those lovely little McGubbins, but unfortunately it's put off by the cost. So Geek and Son do some fantastic work. Their tables are beautiful, but you pay for that. You pay an absolute premium for that. You get a high quality, a fantastic looking table. We are not aiming at the high end of the market. We produce good, sturdy, high quality tables at an affordable price. So if that's your jam, come and see us. We do some great discounts at the UK Games Expo as well. And on top of that, we're hoping to do some playtesting. So if you fancy coming down to UK Games Expo to come and playtest either Dragon Ranch or SpacePixelHax, or just have a go on Horticulture or Ultra Brawl, which are the 2 games that we're bringing to sell as well, hopefully, assuming we get the manufacturing done, then yeah, we'd love to have you. We'd love to see you there, which are just fantastic. So yeah, super excited. Okay, and then this last little bit of the video is just for me, really. I'm just going to do a little sound test to see how this thing sounds. So at the moment, I'm using the built-in microphone on the camera here itself. I've got a bit, it's quite bright, isn't it? Maybe I need to move that light back a little bit, or maybe I need to sit not quite so close to the camera. But yeah, the plan is to then quickly attach a Rode mic to see if I can get that to work better. And then, yeah, let's see how we go. So I'll see you in a minute. Hello. Right, welcome back. So, just a quick little bit of wordy with the different microphone. I can see straight away that it's a lot higher. It's kind of peaky a little bit. Let me just turn that down a smidge. Where's the bit? That one. Oh, okay. So now I've turned it down to a lower setting, so hopefully it's going to pick me up a bit nicer. Let's see how that goes as well. So, Ingle Bingle, Bongle Boo, I ate a donkey, so did you. Just made that up on the spot. I'm not a poet, and I did know it. So yeah, I guess that's it. So it's nice that I've been able to continue with this vlog for 3 months straight now. I'm super excited about where we are and how we're getting on with everything. I think I need to change up the format maybe a little bit, because this one's running not too long, not too bad. Although I'm down to 76 battery. Don't know how I did that. And yeah, we're just going to see how we get on. So thanks very much, folks, and I'll see you in April for another update on UK Games Expo and game design. Thanks, bye.